Blended learning and the flipped classroom. The traditional classroom. Think back. Yes, for some of you, it may be way back to the time when you went to school. The teacher stood in front of the class and lectured, and students in various states of mind copied down what they needed to know. There was no time for questions, or very little, and then you were sent home with homework. That was the traditional classroom. Then it was time for the traditional homework. You sat for hours trying to figure out your homework with no one to help you, except maybe a frustrated parent. What were the traditional outcomes? Then you went back to school to face the teacher who inflicted a quiz on you before starting the cycle again. Is there a better way? What if we flipped the classroom? No, that's not what I mean. In the flipped classroom, we turned the traditional model upside down. Whereas previously the student was a passive learner while the teacher lectured, now the students prepare to participate in class activities in advance. Then, during class, students practice applying key concepts with feedback from the teacher. Afterwards, students check their understanding and extend their learning to more complex tasks. What does it look like? First of all, there is teacher preparation. Jonathan Bergman and Aaron Sams, pioneers in the flipped classroom, began their journey towards the flipped classroom by producing a video series of lectures in which they delivered course content. They and many others use videos as a primary tool for outside of class content delivery. Other types of content delivery could be textbook readings, PowerPoint presentations with voiceover, printable PowerPoint slides. Any other pre-recorded media could be employed. The sky's the limit. Next, student preparation. Prior to class, the students prepare by watching and listening to the assigned videos, taking notes, preparing questions for class. This coverage of the content prepares them for engagement during class time. During class time is when the flipped model really begins to shine. Since the basic content has already been covered by the student, the teacher is now able to facilitate a class in which the students can practice applying key concepts with real-time feedback. Students work through exercises during class. Teacher is available to assist students as needed. Students can engage in collaborative problem solving. What are some of the benefits of the flipped class? In addition to the extra time the teacher is able to devote to assisting students master the content, there are other benefits. Students can cover primary content at their own pace. It's like they have a remote control for the teacher. If they need to absorb material more slowly, they have the option. Alternatively, keen students are able to work ahead and take on other challenges. Students are not limited by time and location when accessing the primary content. For instance, if they travel a lot for hockey tournaments, they can keep up with their lessons. Students have the opportunity to raise more questions, and students engage in deeper learning. Students assume more responsibility for their learning. What are some of the potential pitfalls of the flipped class? There are a number of potential pitfalls that should be addressed when implementing the flipped classroom. Technology access. Students might not have access to the technology at home. Student engagement. What if the students do not complete the pre-class tasks? Preparing the lessons. The teacher will need to invest a large amount of time and effort in generating and perfecting the primary content. There are a number of ways that these pitfalls can be addressed. First, technology access. In the case of technology access, it is imperative that an equitable learning environment is available to all of the students prior to implementation. Below are a number of ways to make the lessons broadly available. First, many, if not most students, will have internet access, and so posting online, for example on YouTube, will cover a lot of ground. However, for those who don't have internet, offline access, flash drives, and DVDs can be made available. Many students also have portable media players, for example, iPods and cell phones. When the students and their families have none of the above resources available, some flipped learning teachers have sought computer donations and also engaged in fundraising activities such as writing grant applications. What about student engagement? In order for the flipped class to work, students must engage in pre-class tasks. First of all, the teacher needs to be able to monitor participation. Did the students watch the video? This can be addressed by checking notes. Students will be required to take notes during out of class presentation. That will be checked by the teacher in class. To further enhance engagement, students can be instructed to ask a question of interest. Each student should bring a question of interest from their pre-class assignment that they will ask the teacher during the class. Preparing the lessons. Yes, there can be a huge initial investment of time to flip a class, but there are resources already available for those who are just starting out. There are pre-existing flipped lessons. Another possible cost that comes with the initial investment would be the steep learning curve necessary to master the technologies. These challenges could be partially addressed by means of gradual implementation. Once you have built your lesson base, it will be less work to make adjustments and updates. To summarize the situation again, in the traditional classroom, the instructor prepares material to be delivered in class. Students listen to lectures and other guided instruction in class and take notes. Homework is assigned to demonstrate understanding. In the flipped class, the instructor records and shares lecture notes outside of class. Students watch or listen to lectures before coming to class. Class time is then devoted to applied learning activities and more higher order thinking tasks. Students receive support from the instructor and peers as needed. Finally, flipped lesson resources. Below are some flipped lesson resources that teachers could go to as a starting point on their journey to flipping their classrooms. These links are just a sampling of sites that have flipped lessons ready for implementation. Additionally, there is a website that is designed to help teachers begin flipping that includes both theory behind flipped learning as well as more flipped lesson material ready for use. Here are some resources of academic perspectives found in journals. Finally, we have included a site containing the opinions of teachers who have switched to flipped learning and found it to be much more effective in promoting learning among their students.